Hi everyone, it's Amy. Who else would it be? And we're looking at some very March, gray, cloudy, kind of beautiful mid-March after the storm. I actually really love this weather. This is my St. Patty's Day, um, moody, Celtic, Irish, Outlander. You know what I mean? The lustery walk home from school with the book in your hands, and the crocus and the daffodils are in grape hyacinth are popping up out of the lawns. And I love and Anne of Green Gables, and I have a lot of March favorites, March and April. Um, the Ides of March, but mid-March, and it's spring, and spring is almost here, and um, yeah, I love this type of weather, this type of sky. So let's see if I can keep my thoughts focused. I've been really silent lately, and I need to answer some emails. I'm sorry that I haven't done it yet. Anyways, it keeps moving. My stand keeps like slowly panning. It's really weird. Um, I've worked a lot this last month, and I finally am having a little bit of a break this week, which is weird. I don't know what to do with myself. But I've worked a lot, and what happens is we have all this news and all these things going on, and then my life is crazy, and I had I had a pipe burst, as you guys, I think I said that, and then I had to do all that and just crazy stuff. Um, and I think inside myself what I would tell you guys if I could make a video, but I'm just so busy, and then by the time I have downtime, um, it's already been said by every other reader in the universe, which I respect greatly. And I'm just like, well, it's not like I have to put my word out there. If I agree with someone, and I think they're obviously, I have great respect for other readers, all of them. I don't feel like I have to say it, but I want to say my 2 cents as well. But I just sometimes I can't, and I was gonna make a video about that, but it's just such a long story. I really feel like I had autism as a child, which means I still have it now. Never been tested as a child. I feel like if they had tested me, they would have said I had autism, but they didn't, and I fell through the cracks. And in a way, I was always relieved about that because I didn't want to be ostracized and labeled and all that stuff. But what I did was the survival technique to stay silent. But see, the thing is, I am silent, and it's really hard for me to vocalize, and I internalize everything, and then it's too late because then it's not relevant anymore, and it's too much, and then I burn out with the information, and then other people go, well, why didn't she talk? Why didn't she write me back? Why didn't she? It's because I already burnt out on the inside. And yeah, so anyway, I was going to say, like, it's the new trend, I guess, to get tested for autism or autism. And I just find it interesting. For me, I would just want to know for sure, but I'm pretty darn sure I have autism. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure I have autism because I have all the traits. And I've had that feeling of being silent and locked inside myself, of knowing that I'm supposed to connect with people in a certain way, and then I can't, and then I wonder why couldn't I do that, and then they wonder why didn't she do that, and it's like, well, if I knew and I could fix it, I would, but it's really hard for me. But I love people. I internally, I go, if they only knew how much I love them or admire them or what have you, they wouldn't be mad at me, but I'm really, really, really bad about communication. Anyway, moving on from that. That's why I'm not on my channel a lot. And yeah, I'm sure my channel has suffered a lot from my silences, but put this in. So here we are, March. That's what I want to talk about. So yes, politics, but I also want to talk about the fact that it's that time of year to the date. And I can't believe it's 6 years later. I can't believe, because to me it feels like yesterday. And I think I'm always going to feel this way mid-March. Wednesday, mid-March, right before spring break, was when I turned to I think it was actually Tuesday night in 2020, March 2020. And I turned to my daughter and I said, I remember I stated it on Facebook too, back when I was on Facebook. And I said, school's going to be called early. School's going to be called out early before spring break next week. So we're going to start, Wednesday's going to be, they're not going to have school on Wednesday. And I said, and they're not going to go back until next year, like next fall. And that's exactly what happened. And thus started the longest, I don't know what would be, but it started a shutdown. It felt longer than it was. I mean, the shutdown itself really only lasted until probably about May. And I feel like things kind of went back to normal. And I remember I said that things would go back to normal in May. However, they weren't really. I mean, we still had the virus, and people are still getting the virus, and we had to wear masks. And that's the thing. It was our new normal. Yes, you can go to the grocery store if you wear a mask. But just that feeling of the shutdown, it was a curse, but it was also beautiful. And I had so many beautiful spiritual experiences. Um, like, yeah, I did. And I think because as a mom, I didn't have to worry about the kids and their homework and bedtimes and taking them to school and teachers and parent-teacher conferences and all that stuff. And it kind of just got to be Amy again. And Amy had no set time. She was just, and I had just gotten like separated from a long, from my marriage, and things had been really, really, really bad. And it was almost like the world stopped, not for me. That's very egotistical to think that, but it benefited me because all of a sudden I had this bubble of protection around me to just relax and breathe. However, having said that, I had days during the pandemic where I thought I was going to scream my head off because I was so bored, and like all of us, trapped. I wanted to go to the museum. I wanted to go to the mall. I wanted to go, I took a walk every day outside with my dog, even before other people ventured outside. But so I still got out. I still drove around town. We went to the parks, and my dog and I had these beautiful long walks and hardly anybody on the path. But it was like the whole world stopped and everything slowed down. Literally, it did. And I was able to finally just breathe and heal and be one with nature and be one with spirit. And I had all these spiritual experiences, like seeing John in the sky and all these things. So it was really beautiful. It's one of my most beautiful times of my life. And I got to hang out with my kids. And even though I mourned for that loss, like my daughter lost that part of her freshman year, my son lost his like junior high, and thus I lost it too. I lost that part of experience with my children being still that age. But we got to hang out, like go outside, and endless spring and endless summer. And it was like there was no limit. There was no, now it's, this time of year, and now that school ends and summer begins. It was like endless spring, endless summer. It was really beautiful. I just had the most beautiful experiences. But again, I also had the most desperate, like I want to scream my head off. And I did things like, I remember I used the TV and YouTube as my window to the world. And I remember the TV in the living room, I looked up walking videos. That's when I found these people in New York that even with the pandemic, they would wear their masks and they would go walk around Central Park or just like all over New York. There's a guy I watched who walked all over all the boroughs of New York and Brooklyn and everything. And God, that saved me. I can't even tell you how much it saved me to watch his channel as he walked around and talked and interacted with us. And there was like a community of like live chat. My God, that was, looking back now, it's like, thank God that he existed. That and just like videos like the mall. I would like watch videos of someone walking through the mall. What else? I watched stupid comedy videos, and I just like, I had to get my sanity. So I don't know. You guys tell me, how did you do during the pandemic, the shutdown? Because all I know is for me, I absolutely survived through TV, internet, and I made a lot of videos too. And I remember when I was in therapy for years at Safe Home, I remember telling my therapist that, oh, I want to do my tarot channel, but I'm scared. And she's like, what are you scared of? And I was like, well, that I won't be relevant, that no one will like me, and that I don't really have anything to say. And she's like, well, just try it. And I would always erase all my videos, which I still kind of do. Anyway, and I remember I made a video, and I remember going back to therapy the next week and saying, I made a video and I posted it, and she was really happy for me. And now, like during the pandemic, I think because there was so much political stuff going on, there was so much to talk about. and also it was my voice out to the world, really. And so yeah, I did a lot of YouTube videos. So I think that was just one video I'm going to make today. I'm going to post it and do a different topic because I don't want to do a million topics in one video. So I will post this and I'll be right back. Tell me how you're, if you still feel the same way. Do you still feel like it's March 2020 and the pandemic, the shutdown is starting, and you're feeling like that same feeling? Because I swear I'm never going to get over it ever. I'll be back.